This is the OP300 3D training.
We'll start with a general overview of the controls, and then we'll show you positioning on a patient. You're always going to start with this touch screen. Right now pan is selected. We want to do training on 3D, so we'll simply touch 3D. You'll notice that it changes and gives us selections. We can choose the small field of view, which is 6 centimeters by 4 centimeters, or our medium field of view, which is 6 centimeters by 8 centimeters. The bottom of the screen is always going to tell you if it's ready or if it needs you to press a button. Right now it's telling us to press the patient positioning button to rotate the unit to the patient in position. That is this button here. It looks like a bald man with 3 laser lines on his head. I'll simply press that, and the machine will set itself up for 3D imaging. You'll notice that it auto-rotates the sensor. It gets the 2D pan sensor out of the way and rotates the 3D sensor into place. For your controls, you have an up and down arrow starting closest to the mirror and working our way out. They move the unit up and down. Next you have a light bulb. That turns your laser lines on. We're going to have 2 horizontal laser lines. Next you have the patient positioning button. Then you have 2 arrows going in a circle, which we are not going to use for 3D. Lastly, you have 2 bars with an up and down arrow. They move your motorized chin rest. The bottom buttons are used for 2D for canine positioning. It's asking us to press the patient positioning button one more time. We're going to go ahead and do that. Now it tells us we're ready. So I'm going to select the medium field of view and simply touch the area on touch my lock button, and then touch the area on the patient's mandible that I would like to take. Whether you're taking a mandible or a maxilla, we're just positioning where we want to axially here. We'll make the mandible and maxillary decision over on the chin rest. I'm going to choose either standard resolution or high resolution, or I'm going to choose the scout image. The scout image is going to take 2 quick snapshots, one from the front and one from the side, just to make sure that we have what we want in the image. After we take that, we'll simply select standard or high res, depending on what our treatment plan is. The M button here is your metal artifact reduction. If you have somebody that is heavily restored, I encourage you to press that button and keep it depressed. That'll eliminate any of the scatter from the metal. So we have our area selected axially. I've got standard resolution selected. The machine is ready. At this point we would have our patient step into the machine. Raise the chin rest to the general height that you want to be. Have the patient grab the handles and stand comfortably. With 3D positioning, we don't want them to move, and we can adjust their head in the software. So we want them to be comfortable. You see 2 horizontal laser lines on the patient's face. This is the top of your field of view, and this is the bottom of your field of view. If you want to adjust that higher, we would simply lower the chin rest, and that raises our field of view. So now we would be shooting a maxillary image. You'll notice that you do have the opposing occlusal edge there as well. If you wanted to do both jaws, simply raise this to where you're comfortable that you are below the inferior border of the mental foramen and the mandibular canal and into the sinus. At this point, we would have the patient hold very still. We're going to bring this forehead support forward and tighten the temple supports and press the button and take our 3D image.